Good morning, good morning. I'm gonna make a video on how we do the rodents here, on how we clean them, feed them, water them, all that good stuff. Yeah, don't mind the cold sore. It's gone away. Thankfully, I only get it like once or twice a year, but yeah, it sucks. But I think I know why the people that quit after one day, and it's kind of ironic because I knew this answer some years ago, and I don't know if I forgot it or just busy or what, but you know, when you come into the store, you see the smiles, you see the happy faces, you see the snakes, you see the reptiles, you see the cute rats when you're getting your feeders, and you think the job is just like, I don't know, all smiles and sunshine, and you get to play with snakes and play with rats and this, that, and the other. But you don't take into account the dirty job part of it, the actual physical work of it. And I don't want to say you, because I'm sure most of you watching haven't worked here or tried to work here, but just in general. And the reason I come to that conclusion, Sunday, well, back up. Last week I interviewed 4 people, right? I could not decide between 2 of those people, and I ended up hiring both of them because I thought both were very great prospects. One of them started on Sunday, one of them started on Tuesday. The one that started on Sunday, at the end of the day, I asked, you know, do you think you want to come back? And she kind of was hesitant. I'm like, you're not going to hurt my feelings if you don't. And she said, I don't, she didn't want to come back. I said, that's no problem. She actually said, I respect what you guys do. Like, I didn't realize how much went into it behind the scenes, this, that, and the other, which a lot of you don't, and that's totally understandable because most everything that happens for the store and for the business happens behind the door to the back, right? I'm back here cupping bugs, someone's back here handling rodents, I gotta handle the website, the taxes, the bookkeeping, all that stuff, the ordering, paying bills, payroll, all that good stuff. So most everything happens behind the scenes. But yesterday's person, she was working, she was doing pretty good, in the first couple hours. And I asked, what do you think? Do you think you'll be coming back? She said, yeah. And then like 20 minutes went by from that part of the conversation because I asked her if she wanted to come back today, specifically because I wanted help cleaning snakes and some other stuff. I wanted to train her in a different area. And she said, yeah, for sure, she'd come back. And then only 20 minutes after that conversation, she come over to me and said, to be honest, I don't think I want to come back. I was like, what changed? Like, I just talked to you 20 minutes ago. What happened? And she was saying how, she don't want to have to take a shower right after work every day, and she's, doing this, doing that, and the other, and whatever. So I said, okay, that's fine, no issue. But then I got to thinking, at one point, she was cleaning the cages in the store, and I happened to take a look, and she was playing with the rats, which is fine. I play with the rats too sometimes. But she spent a good probably 10 minutes playing with one drawer of rats. And I did go and tell her, don't play with the rats while you're working, especially not on the first day. And everyone who's cleaned here has their favorites or has their pets. Chuck had a pet, Matt had them. We all have our favorites, right? But we can't spend 10, 20 minutes at a time playing with those rats when the rest of them need cleaned, fed, and watered, right? So although our rats are very docile, can you see this drawer from here? They'll, you can hold them. They're going to try to run away, of course, but they're not bitey. They're not filthy. They're not wild-like. They're just rats, right? Yeah, we treat them like animals, we don't disrespect them. We don't hurt them. We don't purposely mistreat them. But you got to understand what we're doing is basically farming. It is farm work, and we cannot stop and pet the rats at every drawer. Every time we turn around, we can't be playing with them. The work has to get done, and realistically it takes a solid 30 to 40 hours per week in order to have all the rats fed, cleaned, and watered And realistically, it's going to take more time than that because we're always growing, we're always expanding and building more rodent racks and all that good stuff. So it is a dirty job, and it is, I don't want to say like, it's not like working inside a store, inside a pet store where you're handling and playing with all the animals. We have to stay focused on the cleaning. They get dirty, we have to clean them. And I'm going to show you around on how I clean them and basically what whoever's working here is going to be doing for 30 or 40 hours a week. Most of it is one person. I'll do it by myself today. Whoever I hire will be back here by themselves 90% of the time or 95% of the time outside of us training them. So if you get bored or lonely easy, probably not for you. If you want to just play and cuddle with the rodents all day, it's probably not for you. It is a dirty job. You're going to stink when you leave. You're going to smell the rats while you're here working. It does get very hot back here. We have lots of fans. We just got one new exhaust fan. We're getting a second one today, which will give us like 4 exhaust fans back here now that pipe out to the outside. But we have fans on the inside too that circulate the air. So it's not like you're gonna die of a heat stroke or nothing like that, but it does get hot when it's hot. So hot, stinky, sweaty, lonely. There's not a lot of positives of farming, right? I grew up on a pig farm and I know that. I made very little money, but I did a lot of work. I got to eat healthier back then because, you know, we raised our own food and stuff. Well, this food is for the snakes. We're raising their food. So with that, let's begin. And there are a bunch of things I'm not going to show you, but just to be simple. Matter of fact, I'm going to move this. See if you can see inside of the drawer a bit. We'll see. We shall see. Easy peasy. It's a bad one. There's no babies in here, so I don't have to worry about them. This one's a wet drawer. If there was more water in this drawer, I would have taken all the rats out and emptied the water out outside. But it's just this simple. Take out the old bedding and put in the new. Easy peasy. If there are babies, I take them out. I put them in this little tote I have up here. Make sure I get them all. Also, there's a couple pinkies. I always tell people, don't worry about hurting the babies. You can't, unless you're actually trying to, you're not going to hurt them. Their moms lay on them when they're feeding them and drinking them, and they're durable, you know what I mean? So you can pick them up a whole litter at a time when they're pinkies like that. And now, this drawer has some poop caked, so we run the scraper. Easy peasy. Spread out their bedding. And it goes back to them. What I like to do is roughly a half filled cage. I'm going to put their babies back in there in a pile, and they will move them where they want to after I'm out of their drawer. Now, if you notice, some of these drawers do not have nearly as much bedding as the others. One of our most recent rodent cleaners was very, very lenient on the bedding, but it's not the end of the world. I always tell people, if you have to be an extremist, give them less bedding versus too much, because currently we're going through almost 100 bags of bedding a month, and if one person came in and gave everybody too much bedding, it can easily go up to 150 or 200 bales a month. Or if you went lighter, it'll save us a little bit, but you have to clean more frequently because it gets dirtier quicker. So I prefer to do just about half full, spread all the way out. And whatever falls on the floor is no issue, because at the end of the shift, we'll go back through and we will sweep it all up and have the place looking pretty again. It's been a long time since I timed myself, but I do tell people it should only take about 90 seconds per drawer. There's, I can't remember the amount of racks we have now. I believe it's over 70. And 5 or 6 drawers per rack. So there's easily a few hundred rodent drawers in the building. So if you're taking 5 or 10 minutes per drawer to clean them all, they'll never get done. So speed is key. I do like speed, but it's more important to make sure everyone's clean and fed and watered and all that versus speed. Speed comes later. Quality comes first. Learning the job comes first. And I want to show you too, if you notice there's only 3 rats in this drawer, looking like 1 male and 2 females. Typically I would look at the date and try to pair it and combine it with another colony of the same age. As long as there's no babies, you can combine the colonies. However, without a date, I don't know the age of them. So if I combine them, I would like to combine them with another colony that has no date, or a very old colony, just so I'm not mixing rats that are way too old and way too young. These guys, there's only 4 of them, and there's a male. Well, there's technically 2 males. So I took one out, put him in the bucket down the bottom. There's 3. The other male, put him down in the bucket. Now these girls can go with them. Now there's 5. And now this drawer is empty for a new colony, so we're going to leave that one open. One thing I trained, but not on the first day, is to always make sure there's a male in every drawer. And if there's multiple males, take one out. So there's 1 male. The reason there could be multiple males is either one of their babies grows up that we weren't able to pull in time, or one of our old workers made a mistake, which has happened. You know, it happens. Sometimes you accidentally do 2 males instead of 1 male, but that's that. You're literally just doing this same routine 5-6 hours a day, 4 or 5, 6 days a week. It's nothing fun and exciting, you know, but it's work and it's a paycheck. And besides that, we do have a lot of fun here. What do you think? Pretty boring or what? I just seen a loose rat. That's another thing. It's tough when they get loose. It costs us a lot between chewing water lines, electric lines, anything. They're a huge problem if they get loose. So we also have to set traps. We got a couple pellet guns here. If we cannot catch them, we gotta kill them. They're just, it sucks. That's one of the bad parts of the job, because loose rodents can cost anybody thousands and thousands of dollars if you let it get out of control. Besides that, the law is going to be showing up knocking at our doors if they get too loose outside. It becomes a problem for the community, not just here. So that's another bad part about the job. It's just something we got to deal with. And I know there's still people that are going to watch this and say, man, that's super easy work. I could do it. I'm going to go in and apply. And some of those same people get mad when I never call them for an interview, or if I tell them no, or whatever case, because to be honest, we have 2 envelopes full of applications. I've been looking through them a lot over the last week, especially. I don't always look through the applications if we're not hiring someone. So if you applied during a point where we had a good team and 3 months later we need to hire somebody, generally I look at the most recent applicants, because if you applied 3, 4, or 5 months ago or a year ago, I don't know if you still need a job or whatever. So I try to get the most recent ones. I look at the older ones too, but sometimes you get lost in the mix. But one big thing is I have to try to determine before an interview and after an interview, I got to try to determine, is this person a good fit? First of all, that puts a lot on me. Am I a good judge of character? Most of the time I say no, because, well, you get stuck in positions like this. But I try to determine, if I see you every time you're at the store, when you're getting your feeders, are you looking at the rats and are you saying, oh, this is too cute, I can't feed it off, and, you're playing with them every time I open the drawer, I may not want to hire you, because I'm like, this person is going to open every drawer and play with all the rats and nothing's ever going to get done. That could be a bad judgment call on my part. Also, talking to people, some people will not let you talk. And if I have to give you instructions or directions, but I can't even have a normal conversation with you because you cut me off and speak over me at every time we talk, I wouldn't want to hire you, because how am I going to train you if you can't sit down for if you can't quit talking long enough for me to show you what the job is? It puts a lot of responsibility on my shoulders, because I have to be the one to figure it out. I have to do the hiring, the firing. I look at the applications and text you and set up an interview, and then I have to determine, is this person going to be a good pick? Now, in most recent history, the 2 people that I hired that only made it 1 day each, both of those people come in for a second interview. I don't think I have ever done a second interview in our entire history of being in business. Generally speaking, I'll interview you and either hire you on the spot or not hire you. Both of them I called in for a second interview because it was tough choosing between the 2. I ended up choosing both, and they ended up choosing to quit. So it puts me in a bind, and I don't want to take the time to train every single person for 1 day and then they quit. That's a lot of wasted days. Even if it's only 5 hours, that's 5 hours that I could spend doing something more important. I don't want to train you just because you want to give it a shot. I want to train someone who is dedicated and is really wanting to work. And like I said too, I tell everyone this, it starts at $12 an hour, but that's not where it has to stay. We can pay you more. Matt has got a few raises. He was here 2.5 years, so of course. He didn't leave making $30 an hour. We can't pay like that. This is it's a non-skilled laborer position. It's basically a minimum wage job. But you can make upwards of $12 if you are doing good. Me particularly, if I didn't have to do bugs and handle stuff on the computer and all that stuff, I could probably knock this out in 4 or 5 hour days a week. I could probably clean all the rodents by myself in 20 hours. I don't expect that from somebody new. But if you could match the time that I can do, I would pay you. You'd be making the most money of anybody here. Problem is, I'm not going to start people like that and pay them, say, $15 an hour and have them quit in 1 or 3 days. That's why I set up the business. That's why I set up the new hiring bonus that I posted yesterday. $100 at 30 days, $200 at 60, and $300 at 90. Plus, you can get a raise on top of that if you show initiative and your willingness to work, and if you, if you learn quickly. Because that's the tough part too, is learning quickly. If I have to reteach you the same thing every day for multiple weeks or months, it's tough on all of us. And you have to learn it. Something I learned when I was young, when I started working for somebody else, I was probably 10 or 11 years old. I worked for my uncle, and he had a paper hanging in his office that says, "Grasp the concept and run with it." And it had like a cartoon with a guy running with a chainsaw. And I asked him what that meant, and he said, when someone trains you how to do something, or when you learn something, retain it so that you're not having to reteach yourself all the time what it is. Take it and run with it. Don't forget it. You know what I'm saying? So once you learn something, you should run with it. You should know it and not have to get retaught again and again and again. Naturally speaking, that was 20 plus years ago. I know it's a different world. There's a different work ethic out there. There's different generations out there. A lot has changed. But we're looking for one really good person, and if you do good, we're willing to pay you good. With that, I'm out of here because I got to get back to cleaning cages.